Join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome you all today. Okay, minutes. January 31st.
I'll make the motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
Been moved and second to approve the minutes from January 31st. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 4-0. Okay. Consent, did you have two tax abatements? And those are both in my district, so I guess I will move that we approve the tax abatements.
All second.
Then move second to approve the two tax abatements. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 4-0. Okay. Need a motion to authorize and direct chairman to sign the letters, or vice chairman to sign the letters to the city regarding first half distribution of 2022 infrastructure grant funds. You all have copies of how much they are.
Yeah, I'll so move.
I'll second.
Get moved second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 4-0. Okay. What else? We're waiting on Brad.
Did I holler at him, or?
He should be here at 9:05.
Yeah.
We'll give him time to get upstairs.
These need to be passed back to Dawn.
Letters to sign.
There's your more.
Hey, Brad, you're up.
Okay.
We got down, you're up.
Stop me before I say down. Okay, Jesse said he wasn't gonna be here. He called me and asked me to bring up the internet proposals for the ARPA. See if we can move it along, get it signed. And the proposals were from Quickcom and MT Networks. We discussed it 3 different times. And do you guys have any more questions about it, basically?
I personally don't.
I thought we had kind of decided, but I guess we just need a motion to...
Just need a motion
to accept it
and move it along.
You know, this is one of those areas that I don't have any questions either.
Okay.
I gotta rely on expertise like yourself
Yeah.
to lead and guide us through this type of decision. And I think we know where you stand.
Yes. Yeah. You know, it was brought up, you know, fiber to, darn. I'll probably start muddying waters, I shouldn't do that, but fiber to all of our cities and yeah.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is MT Networks,
Okay.
and if we just, I'll just stop there.
I'll make the motion to approve MT Networks bid. For the internet.
I'll second.
We probably need to add the dollar amount into that.
$550,
I don't have it with me, we'll give it to Angie.
right?
Was it 550?
Up to 550.
Up to 550.
And the money is to come from the ARPA fund, is that correct?
It was up to 550, not to exceed 550.
Not to exceed
right?
550.
So it could be less.
Yes, it could be.
Went to the ARPA fund, where it come from?
Coming from the ARPA dollars. We'll have to, we had a contract, we'll have to reword that contract and get it back with them.
And for the internet, when you, the
For
bid for the internet?
bid for wireless internet for the county.
Did you have a second on that?
Yeah, Tom
Tom
second.
second. Okay, it's been moved second, any more discussion? Angie, would you read the motion
Yes.
before we vote, please?
Johnson moved to approve MT Networks bid in an amount not to exceed $550,000 for wireless internet for the county, funds to come from the ARPA fund.
Any discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Easy one, Brad. Okay. we
That was
got-
all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a lot of time, so, I guess.
Really, you need to talk for 20 more minutes.
According
to this schedule, you're supposed to talk for 20 more minutes.
I'm not talking.
You're gonna plead the fifth.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one. I'm not the county engineer. I can't continue going.
Do you
I
have me
guess
call Wayne up?
since we have some time, we can kind of do, in a sense, a roundtable. We need to advertise for a replacement for Health Department Administrator. And I know we don't have a job description, but I think we can go ahead and stick it out. And then when they ask about it, then we'll have a job description ready in a week or so. So, I think we'll need a motion to advertise for that.
You're gonna advertise in and out of house? Worldwide.
I think. And choose the best. Is that a motion?
So I'll make a motion.
And Tim second, okay?
I'll second.
Yeah, see, they don't have to say anything,
And
you just look
move
at
in
them.
second, huh?
They don't have to say anything, you just look at them.
I know. Been moved second, any discussion? And we will get that out right away. Okay.
What length of time you try to put on a couple of weeks, 3 weeks?
30 days, is what I'd suggest. Okay.
This is the 7th, and position will be open the 8th,
End of the 8th.
but we can put an intern in, we can fill it. So, how about we have them by the 25th? That's 3 weeks.
That's almost 3
3
weeks.
weeks,
To me,
almost 3
to me,
weeks.
3 weeks would be adequate.
Okay. That would, yeah.
That'd be in the paper 3 different times.
So we will have.
Right, Mark?
I hope so.
Have about 5 o'clock on, February the 25th, would be closing date. Okay, more discussion.
You probably want to know where you're receiving them at,
We will receive them to the clerk's office.
so we stamp them.
You will stamp them. We will open them on the 28th, I guess. Or we'll do something, take action on the 28th, do something. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries 4-0.
I guess, is Andrea gonna write that up, the advertisement, or?
You're our official clerk,
Okay.
so I'd say you do it. It's. Anything else they wanna discuss right now? Charlie, did you have something for us?
Not yet.
Okay.
You know, the next goes payroll discussion, that may, what's that set up for 40 minutes? Is Jesse still gonna join us for that discussion?
As long as it's before noon.
Could we go ahead and,
Could
Trying to fill in.
Tom, I don't know what, Tom's got 60 minutes. Wayne, we've got 20 minutes for Wayne.
We're just trying to
Maybe
fill
That's not.
10 to 15 minutes.
Does anybody have anything else they wanna bring up? That's kind of a round table.
I
got part of it I can bring up. I'm still waiting on Wade for the other part.
Okay. Well, then.
Wade said he'd be here in a few minutes, I talked to him here right before 9.
Okay.
Don't let me force your hand.
Well, no, it's okay. We're gonna fucking get it done. Back in January, Bobby Skipper invited me to a meeting in which EMP Shields was part of, to kind of bring us up to date on some emergency planning ideas that could affect the county as far as resiliency and continuity of operations planning, in coordination with some of the protections they can offer or help us evaluate for them, so that we're ensuring that our infrastructure is always up. And what it is against electromagnetic pulses, which is also gets into lightning strikes, to protect against that surge of power that can come from lightning strikes or electromagnetic pulse, which could be a solar flare or electromagnetic storm that comes off the sun, or an act of terrorism such as a nuclear blast in the atmosphere that would cut off all our electricity or our radio communications. They offered to do an evaluation of what we have in the county, just to walk through our county assets, and within also our local partners, and see if we would be interested in putting something together to use towards some of the ARPA money that's out there in order to build our resiliency within Coffee County. And when I sit and think about the primary infrastructure needs that we have, such as our communications for 911, there would be a benefit to that. Our water and our wastewater systems in each of our towns, even though that's not county owned, they rely on us to back them up if we was ever in a local state of emergency. And I just wanted to bring the county on, to bring it before you guys, let you know that I would be working with Bobby on this in order to put together something with EMP Shields, what we may need. And that's one of the little tidbits I had to bring before you guys today, to see if we can go ahead and use that towards put together a plan with the ARPA money.
I think it would be great to have the information, and then we can take a look at it from there.
All right.
See where we wanna go with it.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was a really informative conversation of how their devices also disperse that energy from lightning strikes and things of that nature. And we can provide that to our local partners also. So I need to talk with Wade before I can finish up with other business I had.
Are we waiting for Wade on the payroll discussion?
Yeah, I don't really even know what the payroll discussion is.
Can you get your email?
But yeah, email says it was held up, and I still don't understand what the problem is. So,
Well,
I think
Wade asked me to put that on the agenda.
we might as well wait till everyone's here before we even discuss it to them. Everybody ought to hear the same thing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Those in that town, I was thinking.
Yeah, Wade said he'd be in here shortly. I don't know, you know, we got 15 minutes, I don't know if he can come in.
I'm gonna check.
Because Christina's not available today and tomorrow or Wednesday, so we do need to take some action, but
Yeah, we need to get this off and going. And just the confusion is whether or not 9 extra days is actually being paid, so.
You'll be headed this way.
Morning, Wade.
Morning.
Good morning, Wade.
Or you want to wait till 9:30?
Well,
No.
we know we can move on now.
I just got a message from Jesse, wants to know what time you're gonna call him.
So,
Call him now.
what's this? Well, I guess we need to not do this yet, Tim.
No.
I do have another item here. Andrea, you sent out this to everyone, that, now the commissioner's not meeting in the basement meeting room. Could you let people who called to reserve the meeting room know that there are tables and chairs in each side of the meeting room for people to use and set up for their own reservation? Haven't we always set up chairs for people?
Well, I don't know if that's just been done because that was the way it was always done, but there's tables and chairs on each side. So every other meeting room that you would go and use, people set up for themselves with that. When they're meeting down there, the tables and chairs are there for them to set up how they want it. And now that, because people used to ask, okay, we need this meeting room, can you move the commission book? But now that there's nothing down there that we need to move,
Well, I don't know, I always thought it was a nice courtesy that we had set up the chairs for the different groups when they, my thinking.
I don't know what the policy has been in the past. Every business that comes down there, or every company, or every meeting, will want it set up differently. So I'm not sure how the coordination could be on telling us exactly how to set it up in a square or rectangle or all straight rows. So I don't know what the policy's been in the past, Bob.
or if it was,
We've always set them up, now I don't know what the policy, don't know the policy, but we basically have always set them up for people, so.
I guess we could, then they
Get
can
with
always
the people who
move.
have
They
the
can always
meeting and
move.
asking what they want, basically, I guess.
one thing is kind of the thing, like if we go to Kelly Hall and you reserve it, nobody's setting it up for you, you go there, you allow for time, you set up your own tables and chairs, you put your tables and chairs up when you're done. So I don't know that anyone's had an issue with who's reserved the meeting room. And nobody's come to me with who's reserved the room with an issue.
I know when I've been involved, we went down there and we set up our own.
Well, I was just thinking like the planning board, for example, they always know how they're gonna set theirs up. And would it be such a deal if we had to set up for them when the meeting started instead of just asking?
I think it's fair to ask those that are gonna use it to set up their, I mean, it's like you said, that's what we do at Kelly Hall, Kelly Park. any place I've ever borrowed, rented, whatever, put up my own stuff, take down my own stuff. Occasionally we're picking up some trash after they're done, and I assume Barb does.
Right, and clean up, I mean, it's vacuumed, cleaned up, everything when they're done.
I just,
Equal trade.
doesn't matter to me, I just seen that the email came out, and we'd always done it, so as long as everyone knows, I suppose it probably should go out to all department heads, because there's other departments in the county, in the courthouse that use them for meetings. So, I know they use it for, wellness meetings and all that, and, zoning and all that, so as long as we send it out to all department heads, so everybody knows it.
Right.
Okay. Morning, Jesse.
Morning, Jesse.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
Can you hear us all right, Jesse?
Yep, can you hear me?
I know there were some department heads who wanted to be in on this, because some of them don't have any idea what's going on, so shall we put a notice out to all department heads that,
Okay.
yeah, somebody,
Are they gonna be here at 9:30?
yeah. Do you have something to fill time?
I always have something I can fill
Well,
time.
wait a minute, Andy, we'll just wait fill our time.
Instead of, some you might get a hold of, some you might not, and then.
Boom, already here.
All right, just stick around.
I think Carl, you're here on another issue, though, right?
I had two I brought,
He's double
that
dipping.
taken care of, but there's one thing when we can start talking about, so I wanted to make sure you two
So,
remember and understand.
you wanna have Carl jump in with his?
Carl already told us what he could tell us without you here.
Well, with Wade here, what it is a
Okay.
memorandum of understanding with Woodson County. I'll just, what it is, a week or two ago, I did hand you guys, there's a copy I give to you. This is not already been signed, I think, by their people. I got two there.
Give it to Carl.
And what it is they made some changes to it. What it is the old one we had with them, we bought generators for them back in 2015. And what it is it said, when there's a significant change within it, then we would renegotiate. This is what, I should say, rewrite it, bring it back up. And what it is this is, I took it down and educated them, as far as the emergency management process of it. And Wolf Creek also talked with them about how the MOU how emergency would evolve at Wolf Creek and how we interact and play together, and we were partners. And anyway, this is what they shot back to us as far as, because I took it down and said, I think it ought to be renegotiated or we rewrite it because of we're giving, February 24th, the generators did become their property. So anyway, this is what they had proposed to us as far as the memorandum of understanding. The big changes was on item number 4 on page 1, and item number 5. Item 7 is also a change from the previous, but that's just standard, it's pretty much standard language.
And Carl, I know you're referencing the document, but to the people who are watching, when you just say item number 5, item
Okay.
number 7. so
Go ahead and read them.
Well, or just summarize what the difference
Okay.
is or the change.
What it is they're asking, Coffee County will reimburse Woodson County Fire District or Fire Department, Rural Fire Department, $10,000 annually for the use of their facilities during training and exercises. Woodson Rural Fire Department agrees to allow the use of their facilities for training and exercises.
How's that compare with the old one?
With,
How's that compare with the one that we already had in place?
we pay USD 252, which is South Lyon County, which is Neosho County Elementary School, Neosho Elementary School, Neosho Rapids, and that's $5,000 is what we pay them.
What would we pay in the center part of it?
What we did was we bought 2 generators, one for the fire department there, and the other up at the fairgrounds where we would have sheltering if deemed necessary.
So other than that, there wasn't any,
No,
wasn't
and
any
then,
cash.
well, the other one would be item number 5, which is personnel that attend training sessions will receive $75 stipend per evening of training within 45 days of all training sessions being completed. What that is in the past that was 50, and it was just they upped it. When Lyon County uses their road and bridge personnel or any other personnel, we pay them 2 times the wage of what they're making to come over for the training, because we train with Lyon County during the day and we train with Woodson County at night.
Do we train with them every year?
We offer training every year.
We offer
it every year as part of our annual letter of certification to ensure that if they got new people, we bring them up to date. Now, like the last previous years, we haven't because of COVID. So this year we got it on our calendars to provide training to Woodson County, which would be February 22nd, and then March, forgot what week in March we're going to do it with Lyon County. It'll be the week of their school spring break.
Carl, what was the cost of, you said 2 generators? And
We allocated approximately $50,000. I never did find the cost, the receipts for the actual full amount, but it would have been we allocated $50,000 as per the MOU and that last MOU for those 2 generators.
Did we put some new doors or something in for them also?
We could have. I know they told me when we was down there going through the rural fire district barn, we went through and they showed us how they build a loft and how we helped them do some things for the storage of equipment down there. And number 7 is this agreement shall remain in effect until amended, suspended, or terminated by either party, giving no less than 24 months written notice. The old MOU had it in there for 8 years, or whenever we deem necessary, because of the turnover of the generators to Woodson County. And I thought that was pertinent enough of a change that we needed to revisit the MOU. And so did Nick Barney and their emergency manager, Tim Dimick, and all 3 of their commissioners.
what's your timeline on needing to have this done?
Wolf Creek and us, we would like to have it as soon as possible, because having two reception centers is a big advantage to have for our planning purposes, and have this in place. If we don't have this in place and we don't have this agreement with Woodson County, then they need to start filing paperwork with FEMA and NRC concerning the reception center.
Carl, do you have the previous MOU?
Yes.
Or maybe they might want to see so they can compare the 2?
I provided it a long time, about 4 weeks ago. This is the current one I have.
I'm going to recommend that unless we can find it, we all get a copy of the second one and we'll put it off till next week so that everybody has a chance to look at them and decide what it is, what we want to do. And I think another week is not going to make any difference.
Right. It's a long-term agreement, so as we look at that price tag, is that over that long-term agreement? I would definitely look at it that way, not on the short haul, as far as what they're wanting. They've been really good. I want to emphasize the point that Nick Barney has been our contact with Woodson County Rural Fire, and he's been a great asset to us in talking. And we're bringing Tim Dimick, their emergency manager, up to speed on everything, and they've been a great partner. And Nick works really well with Gridley Fire, with Lance down there as far as mutual response, and they've been a great partners in the whole way. And when I've met with them, they appreciated everything that we've done with them so far.
So could you just make sure everybody has a copy?
Yes, I will. I handed one out back in January.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it before.
That was in January.
Allow Andrew
I'll
to
get.
The one I have.
allow Andrew to make copies for us, or you want?
There should be one for Lion Ann. It's okay. We'll get it to you. It's
Get
not
it
a
to
problem.
us, and then everybody can have a chance to look at it for a week, study it, decide what we might want to do,
No worries.
and we'll take a look at it again next week.
Thank you.
Wade, you'll look them over and have an opinion.
Do you need your copy up there?
It would be nice.
Okay, well, we're next item is payroll discussion, real-time pay implementation in COLA, and I don't have any idea who is in charge of this or who's spearheading it or anything about it, basically.
So,
Wade?
I sort of was brought into it the middle of last week, late last week, initially there was sort of a dialogue whether it needed to be a special meeting or not, and I think the decision was made that it could be held today, the issue dealt with.
Excuse me a minute. Jesse, you online?
Yes, I am.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, sorry, Wade.
Do you want me to go by the phone? Can you hear me when I'm talking, Jesse?
Yep, I can hear you, Wade, you're fine.
Will that thing go and sit over here? I thought it would.
Brad,
Depends on the cord.
I don't,
That's not the cord, it's a hold up.
Okay.
Okay, he can hear us. All right. If you don't holler, if you don't understand, so hear something, Jess.
Yep, I can hear you guys.
So last week, the board made a motion and a decision regarding the 9 days that is tied to the HR audit. And I believe that's been an ongoing dialogue with Christina Dietrich from HR Partners. The issue is, to highly summarize, to bring Coffee County and its payroll procedures in line with a real-time system. And for a long time, and I don't know how far back, but it goes back long before I've been here. I asked Angie, I think it goes back even further than even her tenure with Coffee County, where part of the payroll, when it gets turned in by each department, is estimated. And that's one of the things that needs to be cured. So the 9 days, I think it's been probably explained ad nauseum at this point by Christina why it needs to change, why the 9 days is recommended. The 9 days just happens to be in line with the month of February because it's the shortest month. And if I state something wrong, Angie, please feel free to correct me. So I'm not an accountant. I don't know all the numbers games behind the scenes, but one of the things that was brought to my attention is the 9-day issue, and if it's considered to be also a cost of living increase for the employees, is sort of misleading, because if it is considered to be cost of living, the employees don't capture that money until they leave Coffee County's employment. So the $250,000 or whatever that figure is, it would take everybody resigning and walking away tomorrow for that money to go out the door. So in theory, and if I understand it correctly, it's not really a cost of living raise where someone would realize that gain immediately, which is the whole idea of a cost of living. So in talking with Christina, initially I talked with Angie. Angie tried to explain to me sort of mechanically how the design was to work. So I have a calendar here, and I've got green, blue, red, and it really doesn't matter because it's confusing, and there's no way I could put it up on the dry erase board and all I do is confuse everybody, because it's just doesn't fully make sense to me to be able to explain it to you. And maybe Angie can, I can't. Richard's here, maybe he could. So trying to figure out how to bring it to the board and make it right, so that the board understands. That led us to contact Christina, because she's the one who's working on this behind the scenes. She's the hired HR entity who's trying to work on mitigation response for Coffee County, and she put together the email that you would have received yesterday. So it was sent to me and Angie on Saturday, and then I forwarded it to the board yesterday, and it has 3 recommendations. So recommendation number 1, the 9-day payroll transition bonus should be paid by Coffee County. There's a dialogue there. recommendation.
Excuse me, I don't have a copy of that email.
And it should be in the 9:30.
9:30.
So,
Okay.
Recommendation,
All right,
I'll just do the recommendations, then go back. Recommendation number 2, employees should receive a cost of living increase for 2022 separate from the payroll transition bonus. Recommendation number 3, employees should receive their step increase for 2022. And then there's a paragraph within each one of those recommendations to the board for the consideration and the background reasons why. So I guess that's the launching point for discussion and dialogue.
Well, I don't get recommendation 3, I don't think we've ever discussed of not letting people have their step increases.
no, we did not.
So, I mean, to me, that's off the table, that's, we're not doing, we'd already decided we weren't going to do that.
So I think
We decided we would give them their step.
We would give them their, yeah, but we weren't gonna take it off the table, I mean,
Right, right.
away from them.
So I think where things sort of got maybe lost in transition with the new payment schedule that McGrath had put in place historically, and jump in if I'm misstating it, but cost of living and step increases sort of took place at the same time. They got blurred, and the recommendation by Lisa from McGrath was to separate the two, where you had cost of living was gonna be handled and taken up by the board in January, once the most recent CPI numbers came out, which is about mid-January, and then any step increases would be handled by the board in April. So the two, so here we are, sort of, I think the only reason why it's brought up in 3 is so they don't sort of merge together, because now we're encroaching a little bit on April, and we're in February. So if I understand what she said, and we talked about it, and Angie was there as well, that her recommendation, and when I say her, Christina's recommendation, is COLA be taken up separately. You figure out if you're gonna give a COLA raise, and that be established, and then you figure out this 9 days and the real-time payroll issue separately. And how you do that mechanically, I think there's a proposal, but that's your decision to make.
Well, for me, it's still somewhat confusing, and I apologize for that, I guess. I mean, I think we all understood it as this 9 days would be extra pay. I mean, when it overlaps in February, there is 9 days, and then your new time starts on the 16th, so you're getting paid for those 9 days again. Am I correct in that statement?
See,
You keep going. Richard's gonna fix this up.
Go ahead, you keep talking whenever.
Okay, but that's just the way I understood it, so it seemed to me like I understood it as we were paying an extra 9 days, which you, in all reality, see it in March, on your March paycheck, you got paid for the same 9 days twice, when evidently that's not reality.
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't quite work out that
Huh?
way.
That's what I perceived it as too.
Yeah, so,
To me, and I understand where that's coming from, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, I don't, but, yeah, you basically looking at a counter like that, technically, it looks like they're getting paid for that 9 days twice,
Twice.
or whatever it is. But the other side of it is, when you get to the end of the year, the last 11 days of December, they do not collect. Do not collect until they retire, or quit, or whatever their termination is.
How's that? Because they will get paid in January.
Here's how it works, Bob.
But
Your paycheck now is always A plus B. You get the first half of the month plus the second half. What they wanna do is, for February, we're gonna go to B plus A. But we don't know what to do with February, so this is a big question mark. So starting in March, it's gonna be B coming up with this A, and then this B goes with that A. Okay, so you're staggered now. So what you're talking about is at the end of the year, the last B moves into the next year. So that's where you're not getting paid on that this season. And so where you say it looks like you're getting paid twice on February, we don't know what we're doing here yet. That's where they talked about putting a C in. So let's make that your COLA raise, which is, like they said, that's a terrible idea. But that was the plan, the first one. And so then February is gonna be A plus C, and then everything going forward is you're back to the B plus A. So we get paid first half, real time, your payday is still the 30th, like we normally do, 31st, whatever, in the month. But the payroll period cuts off on the 15th. And so you're always gonna have half a month carried forward that you will never see until you retire. Quit, leave, sever service, whatever. And that's the way most places pay anyway. But the problem with doing that, what if somebody hires on the 16th? When do they get paid? They go 6 weeks without getting a paycheck.
They go 45 days without paycheck.
So you'd have to add something in there to say, hey, due to hardship, we're gonna give you a week's pay somewhere in the middle. And
Well,
but anyway, that's another issue.
Let me ask this. To correct that issue, how would people feel about bi-monthly paydays?
That goes to.
That was a question I was gonna ask, 'cause I had someone ask me that, how would we do that?
Plus, the way we figured it, the 9 days would be down to 6 days.
That was just a quick thing this
Quick.
morning. I would have to look at it some more, but, everyone would then be paid for all of February. And then to get on track, we'd have to go back and pay from the 21st through the 4th of March in order to get their paycheck on the 18th.
You're
And then
still talking about the same.
it would be reduced days, but I don't know how else to do it without hurting the employees.
This whole issue is we was trying to figure out where people were not gonna be like a half a month's pay at one time.
Right.
Well, Christina approved what we did last week. I mean, basically, she told us that's what we did, so we did. But if it's such a problem, and I asked Christina this last week, I told her, we're the ones in charge, and I know it's not gonna be favorable, but my opinion is, we decide when we wanna change it, we change it. We're not giving you any days. People make up plans, they'll have to figure it out themselves, and we'll give them a CPI. And they still get, to me, that's, I mean.
I think where Christina's coming from, though, she's absolutely wanting us to get into real time.
Yeah.
And we will be in
And to-
real time.
And to
We have to
meet
be.
meet wage and our regulations, which we haven't done for 20, 30 years.
It's been longer than that.
And it may be
It's been
longer than that.
going-
We gotta get it to real time.
But all it's gonna do is sometimes, there's gonna be a gap, it's gonna be, instead of every 30 days, it's gonna be once, there's gonna be 45 days that you don't get paid.
But if we go by, we could drop that down to 6.
Right.
How does?
And I'm not opposed to that, but.
And I don't understand your 6.
Well, so, like I said, this was quick this morning, so like everybody would be paid for the full month of February. Forgot my March.
As of February 28th.
Yeah. And then to get on track for this payday here, if we paid on the 18th, we would need to pay for these 6 days for everybody, and then this would be fresh and we'd be on track to be paid here. And then we would pay these 2 weeks in April. So like they would get a
But we
check
don't have
here,
to pay those
they would
6
get a
days.
check
We can
here,
just
and
change
then
it
the
when
next
we're
one
out
would
to
be a
the
week in April, they would get a check. Does that make sense?
You following us, Jesse?
As long
Yeah,
as we get the real time.
It would be, but this, if we'd have to repay these 6 days
Yep.
to get us on real time. And then everyone would get a check every 2 weeks.
And then
Some
at
months
the end
would
of
be
the year,
3 weeks.
At the end of the year, having 11 days that they're carried over to the next year, you're probably looking at carrying over 5 or 6 days then.
Probably.
Yeah, you're still gonna have a carryover. Can't get away from it.
That drops it down.
Knocks it
Which
down,
still
but
means
it
you're not
also
getting
makes them
paid
write 2 checks.
2,080 hours.
Pardon?
Which means at the end of the year, you're still not getting paid 2,080 hours
Right.
for the year.
Well, yeah, you are, because the next
Not
date.
this year.
Not
I
this
understand what
year.
you're saying, but
Not
this
this
year,
year.
you won't get 2,080 hours
You're gonna,
on your paycheck, your pay stub, your W-2, whatever you wanna call it. It's gonna be short, whatever your pay is times that number of
48
days.
hours, or 72, whichever you're looking at.
see, if we go to the monthly deal, the way Christina's wanting to do it, there's 11 days carried into the next year. In 2023, it'll be 11 carried into,
Yeah.
well, it could be 10, could be 12. Yeah, well, how
Then you have around
every,
28 hours.
you know,
Yeah, it just depends.
our pay periods now, you know, is 20, 23, 21, 22, those are working days. And if you move it into the real time, you're still got the same days, but they're different days per month because of the way the months are structured, and you're going half-time and half-time.
Two other points to make. One, and it was brought up, and I don't remember who brought it up, the concern between how this proposal would apply to hourly employees versus salaried employees. And just so it's stated in the open and on the record, the salaried employees would gain the same benefit. It would be prorated, because if I recall correctly, one of the concerns was the salaried employees would get a full check and it wouldn't affect them the same way it would hourly employees. Is that right?
No, we would still make sure that however we're handling hourly is how we would handle salary, so.
So it would be fairly administered across the board is what it would come down to. Second part, and since it reminded me since the sheriff walked in, is law enforcement and everybody that's under the sheriff has to be handled differently because of how their schedules are set up. It would not, you cannot apply the same logic to how law enforcement is, and that, so Christina even indicated that another plan and proposal would have to be developed for law enforcement.
And I got some information from Angie this morning from the sheriff's office, and it would probably be based on hours for them, not days. I think is how we would have to handle that, but I would have to get with Christina and see if she
See
needs
if
anything.
Christina.
Hey, guys, can I speak for a minute?
Sure.
This has been an ongoing problem with the county for years and years and years. We all know this. I don't feel that it is the employee's responsibility to take a short pay or lack of pay to get this corrected. There was some ideas that was brought by me, and I don't know if they're still on the table or not. The one that I really like the best is take cost of living increase out of your mind right at the moment. Don't even think about it. Pay all the hourly employees. We already average their pay anyway. Pay all the hourly employees their normal paycheck, maybe early, maybe late, I don't know. And then you're basically going to front them the money. And then throughout the rest of the month of the year, if there's months that have, 23 paydays in it, you take back 2 days, and if the month only has 21, you don't take any or something like that. At the end of the year, the county would only be short maybe 1 day of pay. So it really is not going to cost the county, it's going to minimize the cost to the county. When we first went into this, looking at it as a cost of living increase, I don't feel that was a cost of living increase the way it was going to be implemented, which I didn't like that, because they're not going to notice the money in their calendar year. But I really like the first idea that I put out there and was given to me, and I don't know, Richard could probably explain it a little bit better than I did, but you got to get the COLA clear out of your head and just think of this 9 days. Get that rectified, and then we can go in and talk about cost of living increase to the employees.
Okay,
I think that is the fairest way to do that.
Jesse, the only problem I have with that one is you don't get all your hours at the end of the year. I went through and did the math on that, and so we're short those 9 days because we're pulling it back.
Yeah.
And so you're shorting 72 hours on the year.
Can I ask a question? Is there a way to rectify it 1 month at a time? If we're roughly off 9 days to take 9 months?
Wait a minute, Jesse, can you hear Lindsay?
Yeah, I just, but you're not being, Richard, you're saying you're short 72 hours for the year, but, so you don't need to pull back the month that has 23, you only need to pull back what?
Well, if we pull back any, then that's when you wind up being short.
Okay.
Because that's why,
Yep.
and that's where she was going in and putting that 9 days in at the beginning and calling that the COLA raise. That was filling in that gap to make 2080 on the year, to keep the wage and board people happy. But then the other way sounds great, but in the end, I'm still short those 9 days, because I pulled them back.
Okay, so let's just, let's think about this. Why don't we just, because we was looking at that, $230,000 as the cost of the county, which in essence, if everybody quit tomorrow, yes, that would cost the county that much. So we was already looking at an expense of that. So why don't we just pay the month full, get on real time, and then go and give basically an average pay of every hourly employee as a COLA bonus. That way they'd be getting basically 2 paychecks at the same, within reasonably the same time. You wouldn't want to do it at the same time because of the tax bracket.
My concerns with it, how do you figure overtime if you do it all in one check?
Overtime for what?
You've got road department working overtime, time and a half.
They take time off, don't they, Wayne? They take, when you work overtime, you're not required to take time off. You can basically get a overtime check. You take it as an option as comp time if you'd like.
Right.
But, if you have overtime, you're required to be paid.
Could you average it 52 weeks? Could you make an average of 52 weeks or 12 months, and there's your average?
I'm not for sure on Jesse, but I would like to point out something too. This all started at 173.33 hours a month. And then what happened is they said, well, not every month has 173.33. So then it changed and become the calendar that we saw in the last couple of years. Basically says that you're going to have some days, or some you're going to have 168, you're going to have 172, but we're going to pay you what you work in that given month. So that changed. Now, getting what you're wanting to do, which I fully understand and fully support, but to get what you want to do, either one, you're going to short folks, or two, you're going to make it right and just pay those days. And one thing I'd like to point out is that when somebody starts in the middle of the month, they don't get a check until the following month, or the next month after that. They can be 45 days before they even get a check.
In current practice.
In current practice.
Would buy correct that, Wayne?
In buying the 9 days, at least it gets it to that point where nobody's going to be short anything. Does it give us the COLA?
I don't think he meant buying in 9 days, he meant
bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly, 26 paychecks a year instead of.
I think if you go that way, you're going in the right direction, as far as doing the bi-monthly. But you're still basically, every 2 weeks that you'd get a paycheck.
That would be bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
And your employee starting would get a check.
Then they would get, so if they start in the middle of the month, then they'd get a check at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way they're not out as long.
Yeah. But at least that's a paycheck to them quickly.
But there is a big pill to swallow on this. It's not an easy solution. Because you're trying to correct something which you guys already said that's been basically years in the making, and it's where we're at today to try to comply with the federal guidelines for basically being paid for the time that you work instead of estimating the last 2 weeks.
But you would always be a week behind on your pay though.
Yes. because it's gonna be that processing period that
Right,
she's gonna need
right.
to be able to do it. But if you pay that 9 days to get to that point where you can do every 2 weeks, at least you'll be on track. Yes, but you only see the benefit that Don said, you only see the benefit is if, when somebody leaves employment. They're gonna be paid then at that point approximately 2 weeks
Yeah, well,
of
Get that.
or if you're on
severance pay.
bi-monthly, it'd be 6 days or whatever.
Yes.
You're gonna have some carryover. You ain't, to get real time, you're not gonna get away from it.
No.
In a situation the county's got.
So again, like Jesse said, if you just said, we're just gonna pay for it, it's not really costing anything out of your pocket, because it's not realized until somebody leaves.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
So-
we're not out that 220,000.
No, you're not.
3.5%. We're not out that until, there may be 2 or 3 employees leave this current year, or maybe next, but that 220 is gonna be spread over 25 years, potential.
But then the other side is they're leaving at their current rate. Oh, that's being paid at their current rate. So if they're making $15 an hour, then you left 10 years from now, they may be making $18 an hour.
Yeah.
You're
Well, it's
actually
still
paying
going
at a lower
forward.
rate.
No, it just gets pushed forward. They're basically filling the gap today. And so when we go to the real time, it's always gonna be the second half of the month that's pushed forward.
You're right. You're right. I correct.
So it's not like they're gonna just stick the money in a box and
Right.
put everybody's name on it.
One of the things Christina mentioned, and, when Angie and I were on the phone with her, is making the system real-time, I mean, there's a cost associated with it, and that's unfortunate. But to not take it out, I guess take it out's not the right word, to have it impact the employees, because the employees are not the ones that created it. And, in recommendation number 1, that's sort of it has to be fixed, whether it's today, tomorrow, last week, next week, and it's gonna cost one way or another. So figuring out the best way to do it, get the county real time, and then move forward, because historically, and I mean, there's probably no way to really know the impact of the estimated system on the county payroll system. I mean, it's just not, it's an inefficient design, that's why the recommendation's made to cure it today.
And it doesn't have to be done today, because last week we had a recommendation and we took a knee-jerk action on it, did it. Now this week, we're re-looking at it, so I'm thinking it doesn't have to be done today. We need time to think about it, and I'm kinda like Tim's ideas of if we take a look and see how we can do it bi-weekly, 26 paychecks a year, instead of 12 paychecks a year. I know it creates a little bit more work, but I think that's where you eventually need to get to be, and then new employees come in, old employees leave, pretty soon it's all gonna be just very smooth going.
Right. But this is the shortest month, and that's the reason why they're proposing.
And I understand that, but
But you're right.
we can make it
doesn't have to
work
be
we
today.
can make it work any month.
It could be next month. This would be just the shortest month that you would have the 9 days.
But Christina doesn't wanna tie it together.
Yeah.
We're not
Get
tying
the-
anything together.
Well, if we delay this another month or two, she doesn't wanna tie, you got 3 different programs here. You gotta get to real time, and then you got the COLA, be the following month, and the steps the following month. So if you push this Southern back to March or April, your COLA's gonna be in May, and your steps are gonna be in June. And I don't think we wanna rush into it, I fully agree. Based on what Christina's coming, like I said, I don't have all the answers, but in going to real-time monthly, instead of the employees receiving wages for 2,080 hours, they're gonna be receiving wages for 2,064 hours. 2 days. But those part of the 11 days that's carried in, you know, when they quit or retire, is they will receive that. So that cost to that 9 days, that 220,000, there's no cost to the county up front until people step away. So I still lean very heavily towards the monthly. It'd be easier for Terry to do 1 check a month versus 2. Maybe it's a little bit of a drawback on a brand new employee that comes in on the 15th, that doesn't get a check for 45 days, but they're gonna know it up front. They're gonna know it up front, and hopefully they can make the right decisions to, you know, get by that extra 15 days. But, that's getting to real time based on what Christina's wanting to work out. You know, this 2022, January's already taken care of. February is, you take 9 days, and then the last half of February's got 11, so you got 20 paid days there. At the end of the year, because of the way the days are in each individual month, the pay period for, pay hours for 2022 is 2,064. Now, the following year, it'll probably be 2,080, it might be 2,088. I didn't go out to 23. Yeah, the next year.
It is 2,088.
I'm sorry?
It is 88.
Okay, so every year is a little bit, it's a moving target to a point, but we gotta get to where we're real time, and we are absolutely doing everything the right and legal way, and be fair to our employees, and fair to the county citizens. Then address the COLA, you know, Christina addressed the COLA on her ideas, what we maybe need to do, and then the steps the following month. I think we could probably wait till next week, as I understand it, and not create a huge issue for Terry. But by next week,
Well,
to keep everything on a February, March, and April time frame for all three categories, whatever you wanna call them, we do need to do something next week.
yeah, the
But I know-
14th, I still have time.
You keep talking, we don't wanna be doing the CPI and the steps and all this at the same time. Well, I've been here for 15 years, and we've done a lot of them at the same time, and we've never denied a step. We've never considered a COLA as anything else. We've always kept it separate. May have did them at the same time, may have did them at the same meeting. But our COLA was our COLA, and I honestly believe a COLA is not a step increase or anything else. And then your step increase is, so.
Everything is separate, Bob, but I'll guarantee you, it'll be truly more identified if it's in 3 separate months. Now, how important that is, I don't know.
So in recommendation number 2, Christina makes the suggestion that, the COLA be considered to be effective on March 1st, because historically, or originally under the original plan for McGrath, it was gonna be January. Well, we're not there. And then she has recommendations for what those numbers would be, even considering recommendation number 1, which is the 9 days that currently is on the table right now. So even with that being considered, her recommendation is either a 3.5 increase or a 75-cent hourly increase, and that's just her recommendation right now. And you have to do that math and figure out what that looks like. So, I mean, that's something to take into consideration. Whatever you do or don't do today, you will need to probably address paragraph number 5 from last week, which was where the board moves to pay 9 days, that paragraph, to rescind it and take it up later to change it. But if you're not moving forward with that plan, then I think you need to take action on that.
So, just to let everybody know where my mind's at, and if I'm wrong, I get it. But looking at Richard's deal makes good sense to me. But, your C below the A.
Yeah, that was just the original plan.
Correct. Well, no, you can leave that there. That helps me a lot,
Okay,
actually.
well, I don't wanna screw you up. I'll put it back.
No, thank you. I'm already screwed up, but, so, in all reality, that's where I digested it last week, thinking, because we were told everybody's getting 9 days extra paid this year. So, to me, that was the same as the cost of living. And it even says in Christina's deal, all hourly and salary employees to receive this payroll transition bonus. So it still leads me to believe it's a 9-day bonus. And Wayne shaking his head no.
No.
It's not extra.
My mind's still digesting it as a bonus, because when you take C, you're taking B and A get paid.
Is it
fair
Yeah,
to call
they're-
it in advance? Rather than
That's what I was
bonus?
trying for in advance, but in the end, I wound up being those 9 days short at the end.
Okay.
Because I took them back, because if you're advancing something, that means you gotta pay it back, so it's like a loan.
Okay,
And so the long months, we took away 1 or 2 days.
so would everybody be okay with following Christina's suggestions? I still digest C is being paid twice.
No, it's only getting one, so February.
Because see, we're giving you a separate check for C.
Well, yes, but C was separate, but all February was now was just A.
Yeah,
All you're getting paid was the first half of the month.
time that you worked,
Correct.
actual time that you
Correct.
worked.
Correct. But we gave you 9 extra days, which would be B in February.
Which is coming up here.
No, we're paying you in February for those 9 days.
Sort of. So your first
Then we're
paycheck,
paying you,
the
then
way,
we're paying you in March for the same 9 days again.
wait, February was gonna cut off at February 15th.
Yes.
So your February paycheck
I get it.
equals A.
Correct. I get
There was
it.
gonna be another check, which was C, which was the COLA bonus thing. So
Okay.
February is now A plus C, that's it.
So,
And
We're
now,
not treating
March.
C as COLA.
I know, but that's the way it was originally.
yeah, that's the way,
Okay.
it worked out
And
better in my
that's
head.
just, it's helping his
This
head.
COLA's got a utility stuff.
I understand, I'm
And it
working
needs-
with what I got. And so now everything is gonna go B plus A, so the
Right.
second half is next month. So yes, you kind of got paid those extra days, but at the end of the year, B is moving into, so like if this is December,
I get that part, yeah.
we're not getting this one anymore, we're only getting
Yeah.
half.
And Richard, if
So
we
this
didn't
year is no
do
longer
C,
getting paid.
you'd have got a half paycheck,
Right.
plain and simple.
And my biggest issue when they were talking about, when you guys were discussing this, was this one coming early? And so everybody heard like you, oh, bonus check, how many TVs are getting bought? And then the end of the month comes and I've got half a paycheck?
Yes.
Yeah. That half of the paycheck was gone without us doing C.
That's why you wouldn't wanna give the check until the end of the month.
The only way it would be a true bonus is if we paid all of February regular, paid the 9 days, and then paid those 9 days in March again. So
Then
it
you are-
almost be like
then
3
you are
times.
done.
How would we do that?
Well, that
I
goes
know.
back to the thing with the money out front, the carryover that you won't realize until years down the road.
You know, one thing, and I don't mean to muck the water,
I can throw
you're
beans in
already
here.
doing that now. You've already are paying the 9 days. Because people turn in their time cards at the 20th of the month, and then the rest of it is estimated to say that you're working the rest of the month.
Right.
You are already paying this 9 days.
Right,
But not in
we're
February, we wouldn't have,
No, well,
because we're catching up
You are-
to real
you-
time.
our pay has always been the 9 days or the additional 2 weeks that was past the turn-in period. You're paying that. You've already been paying it.
Mhm.
You're not changing anything.
That's
All
what,
you're,
that's what we gotta get
In
away
February
from.
they are.
all
We gotta
you're
get to
doing
real
on-
time.
all you're doing on this is saying, now I'm gonna do it real time, so I'm gonna cut my pay off on the 15th. And then I'm gonna basically get the next month where you actually have worked and then pay you for that time. Everything that Richard's saying, but what I'm saying is at this point, you have been paying those advanced 2 weeks for years.
Yeah, technically, you're right there.
Is there any way
Because
for them to give an
the only thing we
example?
adjust
But
is
if-
vacation
but if
and.
they get sick or take a vacation, you're gonna yank that away from them.
Yes.
The next
Following
month.
month.
Whoa.
One talk at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe when March comes around, we're gonna get a paycheck and a half, if maybe you can give an example of how no paycheck would have ever come out ahead. Because if we would have had February and only gotten A and a half a paycheck, and then we got C to compensate to bring it up to a normal paycheck, it would have never been doubled here. So I would say maybe an example of numbers to see that nobody's paycheck would have ever increased. It wasn't truly gonna be a double pay, but maybe some numbers to show that everyone's paycheck would have come out exactly the same.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out, and I know we wanted to do this in February, and I don't think we're gonna get it done in February to meet any deal. And it's gonna cost us a little, maybe it'll cost a little bit more in March or April, but I don't wanna do any action on this today as far as the pay, other than, we probably need to rescind this motion. And we will do a cost of living separate. I don't care if it's the same day as we decide something else, but it's a separate deal. And personally, I like the idea. I wanna know what the results would be and how it would work if we did the bi-weekly too. We're making a change, let's do it right instead of jumping into it. And I wanna do that, and I don't care, we can continue to do the way we're doing, it's not gonna affect anybody till we get down to do it, and we'll figure out how to do it where it's fair for everybody. And Jesse, that's my recommendation.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Bob, 100%. You know, we need to make sure it's right, we need to make sure it's fair, and that's kind of why I threw in, let's just give them an extra month's pay and call it COLA, average their time, just like Wayne was saying in the background over there, that you average the last half of the month anyway. So why not we just do an average pay for the 12 months for each employee, call it COLA, boom, there's their check, boom, they get another check for February, we roll in, and we don't gotta worry about COLA no more, then we roll into April where the steps are. That's my suggestion, but I think that would be simple. We wouldn't have to change anything. We just roll with it. We stay monthly. I do like the bi-month. I don't ever know how it ever got on monthly. I like the bi-month or weekly, but my idea of an average pay for each hourly employee, yeah, they might lose $25, or yeah, they might gain $15. Who knows? It's going to cost a little bit, but that, in my eyes, is the fairest way to do it. And then for your hourly employees, you're going to turn around and average theirs. It's just going to be another paycheck. I think that's the simplest way to handle the situation that we have in hand right at the moment.
And move the pay period to the last 15 days of a month and the first 15 days of the next month?
You can move the pay period wherever you want to. If you give them an extra paycheck, an average of their pay out of the 52 weeks or the 12 months, you can put your pay period wherever.
It's true.
In the month. You can put first month, middle month, end month, wherever. The employee is not losing any money. The employee is not losing any hours that they're not going to get paid for. We don't have to worry about subtracting 2 months out of, 2 days out of this month or a month out of next. I think that is the fairest way to do it. And it's going to cost the county roughly $220,000, which is initially what we looked at previously.
Angie had a comment.
I was just gonna say that if you move the pay date, you'll have to realize that all county employees have their mortgages, car payments, whatever bills set up to come out that first week of the next month, so.
Angie, the day is fine. Whatever day we have it on is fine with me. We don't gotta reinvent the wheel on that. I was just saying, the problem at hand right now is getting real-time pay. If it takes paying bigger than the averages per hourly employee and giving them an extra paycheck to get this over on real time, then that's what I feel the county should do. And we look back at last week when we got the piece of paper that said it was going to cost the county roughly $220,000. That's all. We all know that's possibly what it would cost the county to give every hourly employee an extra bonus paycheck. You can call it a bonus paycheck, you can call it a COLA, whatever you want to call it. But that would subsidize that short time, so basically they're just going to get a whole paycheck, 2 paychecks in 1 month.
Well, you think we don't need to handle this week, Jesse, do we? I think we need to be thinking about it.
I really think it's important, Bob, because, our time is running out. We're looking at what next week? That's the 14th. We're almost halfway through the month.
But does it have to be in February? It's not gonna cost us very much more to do it in March or April.
No, you're probably right. I mean, it just caused one heck of a ruckus, and, I just want it to be fair. I want it to be fair for the taxpayers, I want it to be fair for the employees, I want it to be fair for their bookkeeper or the person that has to implement this. Somebody's gonna feel put out, somebody's gonna feel like they got shorted a little more than Billy Bob over in the corner, but this is part of the issue with what's been going on for the last 20 years, so to speak.
This extra paycheck you're talking about, Jesse, is that a 9-day check or a 2-week check?
Make it a 30-day check, I don't care what it is.
Make it what?
Make it a full month.
30-day check.
Well, that's an 8% increase in pay there.
I like it. Well,
I mean, that, go 30 days, that's an 8%.
Well, the only thing, my Jesse, is
We need to wait till.
I personally am not gonna make a decision on it today because we had a recommendation from our HR person last week, and I thought everything was taken care of. Now, here we are today discussing all this. I want time to do a little more research. I think Tom's a little confused, I'm a little confused. I think we need to take at least another week and take a look at it. And I don't really care if we don't do it in February, I don't care if we do it in March and it costs us a little bit more when we do it. But let's do it right and make it fair for everyone. Let's make it fair for the employees, let's make it fair for the taxpayers.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I agree, guys.
so with that, I think we're just gonna pay you the way we go, we'll get it figured out, and we'll let you know when we get something else figured out. So,
My thought was, we're looking at some different scenarios there, and to make sure we absolutely do it right, I think Christina needs to be involved in the discussion. And I think we've got her retained to guide us, and if we don't listen to her and get it guided and fixed right, we open up the can of worms for down the road to fix again.
well, we did, and this is what we got.
That's right, yeah.
So, that's where I go back to again, if we could have some study sessions on some of these.
I think it's good if we table it
Right,
myself.
so I think though that we do need a motion to rescind, then question 5 on the agenda where Johnson moved to pay. Do you want to?
I'll go ahead and move, we rescind it.
And Tom will second it. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we rescind motion number 5 from last week's minutes. Just withdraw it, right? Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries 4-0, okay.
Although I would have to say that we did say we would do cost of living increases in January and steps in April. So do we need to
We've already
follow recommendation number 2 and increase?
Get that out of the way.
Just get the cost of living.
Can I mention one thing on that? As, Jesse, you're still there, right?
Yes, I am.
As
I
we,
voted.
as we talked,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, 5-0, sorry, Jesse.
as we talked last week, we may have to change when we do steps, like, after we get through this year or whatever, and do cost of living, because if we do cost of living in January, then when people move on their step, then they're getting another step on cost of living. If you guys were trying to avoid that, I remember that was the discussion last week, so, because it's gonna change our step.
I would like to see the cost of living increase in a bonus check that does not mess up with their hourly pay. If you do a percentage, if you do a cents per hour, that's gonna mess up our step system. I would just like to see it as a cost of living bonus.
So like they would get,
employees and hourly and salary.
so they would get like a bonus check for the year and that's it, and then stay on the steps, is what you're
Yep.
saying?
That's what I would throw out there. I think we've got, the other commissioners just gotta agree to it, but
Well,
that doesn't mess with that system.
And you're, under that scenario, your wages are not gonna change.
Your wages per hour.
Wages per hour would not change under that scenario.
Right, right.
Equal. So what we get into the wage and hour, I don't
That's gonna throw them up into a different step, and then in April, you're gonna move them another step anyway.
Well, Don, can I ask it, now, like, does that affect retirement and capers? So if you were here for 20 years and you're maxed out, but you're getting a cost of living, but you're gonna retire on this low wage, does that affect?
I have no idea how.
I
It
think
will,
it
they
can come
base
back.
it on your 3 highest years.
3 highest, 3? I know that's COLA business, 4 highest out of 10.
We missed January for the CPI,
Compounding part of it.
and another week is not gonna make a difference, so we're going to,
We need to get Chris.
we're gonna get off of this subject, and we'll worry about it next week, Jesse.
Okay.
We'll
that's
discuss
fine.
it, what we're gonna do.
Do you
Okay.
want us to find out bi-monthly or monthly?
And I also would like for Angie's office to try to figure out something for bi-monthly for us, so we can have that for discussion
Do
bi-weekly.
you wanna hear from the employees on that?
Sure.
Okay.
We could maybe have a department head meeting.
Christina is scheduled to be here on the 15th, correct?
What, yes?
But earlier, it's
Can,
tossed around that, what would the
can
employees
Mrs.
think of
Dietrich
bi-monthly?
be down next week?
She,
I can call her and
Can we
see.
see if
We
she's
can
down
call
next
her.
week?
We can call her.
she's got to be
I know
involved.
we got her kind of full, for next week. I know Goldberg's wanting to be on the end of the discussion day. So if we could see if, Christina could be there next week as well.
Yep, I will.
Can you ask her, in her opinion, how bi-weekly?
Yep.
Okay, we'll have a lot more information next week, Jesse.
Okay, all right. Thank you all. I'm gonna get off here and, start my vacation again.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you all. Have a great week.
Christina is not available for the majority of the week, so getting a hold of her, she's taking some personal time, or else I think she would have been here to deal with this. So,
Could we email her and kind of give her a advance?
well, if she has cell service, we can, and I have no idea where she is. I know we got this set up for Jesse to appear by phone today, and my understanding was if we didn't get him in the morning, he may have no signal at all, so.
We will work to try to have some kind of communication with her next week.
Yep. We'll let her know, and
Okay. Sam, you need to take a break?
I could use one.
We'll take a quick break.
John, can I set these here, or we either want?
I'm sorry?
These are Wayne's, you just brought them, when you leave them, start here with you.
One way. If the motion passes on this one, this would be for the culverts. If it
Okay.
passes, then
Yep.
we'll get those folks to sign that one.
Okay.
I have another contract that I'm having, give me authority to sign, and it's the same contract that I had, basically on that previous one. So it's the same one, you just haven't seen it, but
What do you know today, TJ?
I don't know that physically.
No different from yesterday. Didn't know anything yesterday, don't know anything today. But you're consistent.
Not much changes here either.
So it's due for on the contract.
You guys staying busy?
We've been kind of shut down. Construction, you mean? Yeah. Firing back up tomorrow.
Is it
Grounds.
cold?
Yeah, just grounds broke. Can't do anything. Not to mention some of the guys just like a little break. I always put it as you're with your coworker more hours in a day than you are your family, so it's nice to take that little break. Even on the weekends, you only get 16 hours, you get 40-some hours with your coworker every week. No, we're gonna fire back up tomorrow.
Here's what I put together over the weekend on that page, and that's basically the same thing Christina's came up with. So, Hopefully we get something done next week.
I know.
I've sat there and listened. Andrea is very passionate about that discussion. I've listened to everybody and their brother's opinion on what needs to be done.
Everybody's got a different opinion.
Yeah, everybody.
And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus or nothing on it that way, but we were told last week this was basically a 72-hour bonus, that everybody be getting a bonus, 72-hour bonus. Okay, well then, we'll just call it a cost limit. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And then before the end of the week came around, nope, that was wrong. So it's like,
I thought the same thing.
yeah.
And that's water. That's water. It's water. What happened?
You have to learn how to make coffee.
I'm gonna have to.
You just to give them an earful, Wayne.
No, I'm gonna just, tease them a little bit, and then I'm out of here.
Well, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait,
Yep.
Donnie's not here.
It's been 10 minutes already?
No. We just had a short break. We didn't know how long Tim would need, so.
Tim was chuckling at me over the week, last Friday. We were meeting with college people, and I was pushing that building, Mr. Bob, the one that, you know, you're opposed to. And I was trying so hard. I was selling hard too.
You was.
And they said, we're just not interested.
We'll talk it.
Tim was laughing away at me.
Angie?
We're back.
I try to be polite.
Yeah. It was funny.
I do need, I need to leave here no later than 12:10 today. I got a funeral to be to, and,
Yeah, there'll still be three of us.
yeah. I will.
Okay, Wayne, you are up.
I'll go real quick here. So on the engineer's report, we updated a little bit. You may have a new one. And it would have the landfill totals onto it, hopefully.
We got it.
Do we got it? Okay. And so on the landfill total, so you have the landfill totals for January. And then also the groundwater monitoring report came back, and there's no violations. No volatile organic compounds were detected. So our groundwater sampling tested out good. And so apparently they may not have extra copies then, do they not? Oh, yeah, they do. They do. Okay. So that one tested out well. Once again, we're one of the few landfills in the whole state that's not under some mitigation. And so once again, that's a positive report for us. There is one well, it's up gradient. And so they are testing some chemicals on it that they're finding. But once again, it's up gradient. It has no effect. The landfill is not affecting that well. There's no way that would go uphill. So there may be some discussion on that with KDHE at some point if they're wanting to do extra testing. But once again, it's not part of the landfill as far as the cell itself. It is uphill of the cell. The next one, so then I just dive right into the motions. Now, we've done this before, so what we're asking is, you know, that the landfill is open on the first and third Saturday normally, but there's 3 holidays that basically fall within that time period. So the motion that you see would basically correct or help the employees to be off those extended weekends. And that would be February the 19th, President's Day, July the 2nd, Independence Day, and then September the 3rd, Labor Day. And that would be the motion asking for your approval that we would be allowed to close the landfill on those days.
Actually, Friday the 18th will be That's the company.
Yes, sir. These are all for Saturdays that would follow either the holiday, that's either on a Friday or a Monday. So given the extended weekend, as the holiday normally,
So, the people are normally there, what's this gonna do to their pay?
yes, it would. They just would not, basically would not be regular time worked. It would affect their pay. But they're agreeing to this, the recommendation is coming from the landfill to make this
So they would just
basically.
miss those hours that they normally.
Yes, sir. It's time to work, so if they worked it.
So normally, what, 4 hours on Saturdays?
8.
Are they there 8 hours on
Full
Saturday?
day.
And this is what we've done before?
Yes, sir.
When it's around a holiday?
Yeah, we've
We've
done it.
had done this
And I
before.
think I remember that, so.
I'm thinking last year on July 4th was another one, so we had done it. But
So I'll move to approve that, landfill closure.
I'll second.
Been moved and second to approve motion, 2022-08, which is closing the landfill on certain days. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries 4-0.
The second motion is pretty much a standard motion that we come in to restock our culvert pipes of various sizes. As you see, we have culvert pipes in the yard, and as we need to put in entrances or replace culvert pipes across roads, we have that stock available. And so right now, we're looking somewhere around, it's within our budget for the road and bridge, but somewhere around the 70,000 mark is what we're looking at for assorted pipes. But prices continue to increase.
That's what I was gonna ask you, is it double over last year?
It has
Like-
definitely have increased over, as far as double, but it's considerably increased.
Motion 2022-09 is, recommendation county engineer to buy, get formal bids and purchase various culverts for inventory.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved second, any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 4-0.
The next one is similar to the motion that I had on, bridge number 127 and 128. What it is BG Consultants was selected by performance base. And so as they were selected, this would be the cost share program that we were awarded $1 million for the 6 locations, 6 intersections along 75 Highway. And so this would allow me to sign the contract to keep moving that one forward as we get the design from BG Consultants. Right now, their estimated cost, or actually it's a lump sum fee, it's $112,570, but I am working with them a little bit. $112,570.
Last time it was around 120, wasn't it?
I think I reported as approximately 120 is what I was looking at. What I'm trying to do right now is work with them on their surveying. I believe their numbers, their hours are a little high, but as I continue to go through that process, it'll be what we agreed to. $112,000. Did I say 112,000?
112,570.
Yeah. And actually, I apologize, that was their estimate form that broke down the hourly rate, and their contract is 112,500. Slight difference, but just to make sure.
Motion 2022-10, request for contract approval for professional services with BG Consultants for a price of $112,570.
570 or 500?
500.
500?
Yes, because the one I was reading, I apologize, was their hourly rates broke down, but it's a lump sum contract.
Okay.
Now, it's not to say that there could be additional fees, but if it is, it'd be things that we agree on. Geology for one, for the cement treated base and such, but.
Is that to be paid out of the road and bridge fund?
No, that will be part of that $1 million contract that I'm working with KDOT. And so it's gonna be all part of that. We're gonna have fees that's gonna be associated with it too, But most likely what we're gonna be looking at there is the special highway fund.
Okay.
So if you wanted to just put it there, that would probably be one way of approaching it.
Well, this agreement, this is for the BG consultant's price, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
not to do anything.
There'll be, yes.
Okay. Does anybody wanna do it?
I'll move it.
Been moved and second. Tom, Tim, any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries 4-0.
And just, Jim Schusler from Cook Flat and Strobel has sent out an email, and so their kickoff meeting for the community, planning group is scheduled for February the 16th from 5 to 6:30. So,
Where?
Where?
I'm thinking here at the courthouse. Did he say, Andrew? It doesn't say on this email. So it just says the work, I assume we're gonna be here at the courthouse, so at this point, that's where I'm at. And I think, yes, I'm pretty sure that is, because what we're trying to do there is, I believe Bobby had visited with them a little bit, that's just right before the planning board meeting, is the third Wednesday, so he's trying to tie it into that, so that's down at the basement meeting rooms. And so they're gonna have the meeting prior to the planning board meeting, so it would be here at the courthouse basement meeting rooms. Okay?
Okay.
At 5:30.
Yes, sir. 5 to 6:30, what he has, 5 o'clock to 6:30 PM.
And that's the 16th.
That is the 16th. I believe you and Tom are on that group, or that committee for the commission. So,
I knew I was, I couldn't remember who else was.
I think Bob was, I think that was, some of the discussion for that trail.
Okay.
That's all I have, sir. I think you have the construction zone, not much changed. We had the snow events, here last week. We had 2 crews for 2 days working it, and then we had the sun come out a little bit and definitely helped out. So, nothing other than report, unless you have any questions. Thank you. Yeah, I can make it quick.
Extension wanted to speak, Tom wants to be last, so if you,
That's okay with Tom, or with Darrell? Come on in.
Well, thank you.
sorry, I was in here busy with them.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Last time I was here, he said, put together a plan for renovation and bring it to you, so that's kind of what I've got here. I didn't know how formal a one you wanted, but, hopefully this will give you an idea of what we've got in mind. This diagram, the top portion is the building layout, where the renovation would take place, the current layout of the rooms and things. The bottom is what we would like to transform it into, and with a description of what we've got in mind down below. First thing, probably our priority, we did find the hot water heater finally the other night. We've been having issues with hot water not lasting very long. Lauren timed it one day and we're out in about 3 minutes. So we found the hot water heater. It's located in the ceiling, and it just happens to be located right above where all of our electronic equipment, our printers and all that kind of stuff is. So probably not a good idea. So I guess priority-wise, what we'd like to do is probably get that changed, maybe put in like a 40-gallon or something heater. There's room down in the mechanical room that's there to do that. That's where the water line comes in anyway. So that would probably be one of the priorities of getting that taken care of just as quick as we can. The other are things we'd like to do, the kitchen conference room area, remove a wall and redo some of the electrical in that, make a little more space there, create a place for an oven for Jill programming and that sort of thing. The restroom, there is a restroom that had been started. You can see that's down in that lower left corner. The plumbing and stuff has been installed. Some of the electrical work was kind of put in place, but not a lot. But we'd like to put a restroom facility, a second restroom facility in that corner where it's already at, complete the process that was started. Then the next thing would be to open up a programming area, and that's basically going to be removing partition walls that are there. From what we can tell, looking up in the ceiling, none of those are load-bearing walls that we want to remove. It's basically just partitions that have been put in place, so we'd like to take those out and open that up. And I guess, and then new flooring, commercial grade carpet, I guess, throughout that renovated area probably would be the thing that we'd like to put in there as well. So that kind of gives you an idea of where of what we're thinking. As far as the estimate I've got here, quite honestly, I have no idea what renovation costs are. Kind of went online and did some checking and some things like that. Those are just estimated costs from figures that I've found for renovations online for various things. The only thing, the commercial grade carpet, I did call the carpet place, so that is a pretty reliable, I guess, figure in there for that. We came up with a total estimated cost of close to $50,000, I guess. So,
are you looking to have one person do all this if possible?
Well, that's what you all had mentioned, that we needed to have 3 bids. Is that correct?
You will need to have official bids for it.
Okay, and that was one thing that I had a question on. Is there an official bid form that we need to utilize to have those individuals fill out? Or I guess documentation-wise, I wasn't sure what we needed to do there.
So you could write yes only. You could write up your own, basically like what you did here, minus the prices.
Okay.
And make each person, have each person, if you will.
Okay, I actually have,
based off that.
They have to be licensed.
I've got a form I can send you.
Okay.
Kind of fill in.
Okay. Do you have a list of contractors that you've used that you would suggest?
No, but you can find some.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if we'll just start looking around.
It's kind of hard to find a handyman around anymore these days.
We don't.
Okay.
Your restroom, just gonna be one restroom?
Well, we've got a restroom now. There's one up front that's ADA compliant. This would be a second one. Sorry about that.
Okay, so there is another one here.
There is. Yeah, this is just the south half. There's a north half attached to that. But yeah, just off the office.
I think you'd want to.
Yeah, off the office area, there is currently a restroom facility that, like I say, is ADA compliant as far as I know.
Okay, well, get bids, 3 bids.
Okay.
And come back and there's out there. I know the senior center at Waverly had a bunch of work done. It might get hold of them, see who they used.
Okay.
And I don't know who else, so.
Okay.
I think there might be someone over at Jacobs Creek or somewhere too. So
okay.
Get 3 bids and bring it back. And
from the water tank issue, the water heater issue, can we go ahead and do that separate from the rest of the reno?
I would
get that taken care of, or?
I would say the water tank issue, since you had problems with it and it's leaking and it's probably not in a good place, to me, that would just be maintenance. You go ahead and get a local plumber or somebody to come in or whatever to do that.
Whatever we need to do.
And that's my opinion.
That's something you can't put off. It needs to be fixed.
So you get that fixed, take it out of your bid.
Okay. Yes. We'll do that then.
And get it fixed as soon as possible before you damage something else.
Yeah, before it turns into being more expensive, so. Okay. Anything else, Joe? Okay. I guess that's it, so if we've got approval, we'll get started with the process.
Everything's working out as you thought it might, as well as, especially after you get this done.
Yeah.
Everything's falling in place, Earl.
Yeah, the office space is adequate. I think our location's going to be great. We've had a lot of people we need some signage, you know, some permanent signage. We've got to figure out where that's got to go and some things like that, what we'd like to put in there, you know, and some things. So, but yeah, as far as the location, I think we're good. So, yeah, we've had a lot of comments about how people think it's going to improve our accessibility quite a bit, you know, so appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
thank you.
Almost just gone. Reminds me, Andrew, you gonna get us some maps and calendars like this?
I was gonna ask you about that, I couldn't remember where that ended, you do all want that signed?
I would like one that time.
There's a whole bunch of them up there, there was the other day.
Where?
I don't know where that one came from, but there's a box full of them up there in Bobby's office or in your office. I seen them.
Oh, I didn't go there last year, so whoever
Well,
ordered them last
okay,
year,
it
but
could
yeah,
have been
I,
last year's.
yeah, I ordered those off.
If you go, usually it's good, that way we always have one available we can look at.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, you're up.
Good morning,
Good
it's still morning.
sir.
So just gonna give you a little update. Had a deputy graduate from the academy Friday, so he'll be,
Congratulations.
yep, we've been waiting for that for 14 weeks, so get him on the road and get things going here. The other thing I'm here for is just kind of give you an update. I was told that the bore drilling went fine out in the parking lot. No issues of rock, so that's a great thing for us there. I think Goldberg is going to be here next week. I think he's trying to get on the agenda to come in and give you updates. He has sent me some updated drawings of the proposed jail and sheriff's office. And again, your words were for me to have a vision of you wanting it in the parking lot here, and that's what Goldberg has done. He's drawn that up, and hopefully the citizens will like that issue compared to the others that they haven't. It's here. It's less money for here, and he'll be able to fill in all the details next week. So other than that, if you have any questions about the project, I don't know that I know a lot more than that. You probably know more than I do.
No, I don't know any more than you.
I'm looking forward to Larry coming in and giving us a brand new vision, or whatever you want to call it. Brand new plan.
Yep, he has sent me,
projected cost.
yep, he sent me, new, drawings of the way it would look, where it's setting in the parking lot and such. I think it looks great, but as far as that goes, like I said, it's not to me, it's up to the taxpayers. So hopefully this is, takes care of the issue of where it's at, and hopefully it takes care of the issue of cost. So, other than that, if you don't have any other questions, I'll go back to work.
I guess evidently this is one of the last ones. I like the where he had turned this. There was a lot of comments about the release, the front door and all that stuff, being to the school. And to me, I think he had changed his indoor, or maybe not. Has it been changed, Wayne?
I think it's labeling. I think originally the labels just didn't show where people would be.
It was my understanding he could just turn the whole thing and never affect anything, and get the front door away from where all those people drive to pick up their kids every night and all that. That was supposed to be one of the concerns of the citizens.
So the front door will be facing the north.
Right, and that's what, yeah,
And then, yeah, any release of individuals would be to the south or the southeast is a door. I mean, our sally port's on the south, so, you know, you pull in, doors close behind you, inmates get out, get out in the sally port. It's not like you pull up in the front door and see somebody in orange clothes or handcuffs get out.
right.
The citizen, not just the school, would never see an inmate coming in.
Right.
You know, they pull into a sally port, a door closes behind you, and then they're taken out of patrol cars or trucks, whatever it may be. So yeah, things have been put into place, and you'll see in the drawings, I'm sure, to minimize not only the school, but just citizens from seeing inmates. I mean, it's hard for me to understand some of that because, again, it's part of life, it's a jail. But we are trying to minimize, we're at a school, we understand that. Hasn't been that way for a while because we don't have a sally port, but this will have a sally port, and we won't have that issue anymore. So we won't have to worry about walking people in and down that incline with snow and ice on the ground and about somebody tripping and falling. But I think it's great what he's drawn up. But again, it's just preliminary pictures, and hopefully we can get the taxpayers behind us and get this voted in and get things moving, because it's not getting cheaper.
Well, I hope they would, because we've made pretty good effort to change a lot of things and to get the costs down quite a bit. And I think most people realize we do need a jail. So
Yeah,
I think they're not opposed to a jail.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. I mean, people understand. People understand that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The thing that we're still looking at 78 beds. We haven't daunted from that. We've kept that up. In 1980, whatever, before this was built in 84, there was only 3 beds. And I'm sure that in 1984, when they said, let's put 18 beds here, people said, you're never going to need 18 beds. So that was 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. That's 6 times the amount in 1984 they built here. So if you look at it now, 30 years later, and we times 6, it's 108. We're not asking for 108 beds, we're only asking for 78 beds. So we think there's no doubt whatsoever that that's the right number.
Do you think the drawing will be something we can take out on the road, so to speak, for the public meeting we were wanting?
Absolutely, sir, just like I did before. We can print them out. I went to GIS and asked the girls to print them out on blotter paper so we could have them as big as we want. I don't think that's an issue.
Just a little information so people will know that we're looking at 12, 15 million, hopefully in that general area somewhere, maybe a little bit more. Saline County is just doing a $97 million jail project, so.
How much?
$97 million.
That's not Lynn County's cost.
I don't care, this is Saline County.
Saline County, not Lynn.
Sorry, I thought you said Lynn.
No, Saline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Lynn County's are in the 28 or 30.
Yeah. So, again, did you have something, Wade?
Go ahead and then I'll jump in.
So again, I haven't paid a lot of attention. I haven't seen a new cost update, but Larry said it was less than what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen that update, but I did see he did send all new drawings of everything. Again, I like them, but I'm not the final say-so in it.
So, Sheriff, I know you and I, behind the scenes, have had conversations related to if things continue in the county the way they are on the prosecutor, law enforcement side, that you may need more bodies with the sheriff's department, and even mentioned to me, I don't know if you've mentioned it to the board, potentially two new deputies to handle the load. And I think this is an important place for this to be brought up, because what I don't want to have happen is, if that is the request and things continue as they are, I know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think everybody else does, because I deal with it on the law enforcement side. There are high level and heavy subject matter cases that occur in Coffee County. It takes a lot of time and resources for the sheriff's department, for Burlington Police Department to deal with those issues, and if you don't have enough deputies, detectives, officers, then the quality of work ends up being not what it should be, and I know that's not what Tom wants. Or you have people not on the road that should be on the road. And the communication I've had with people, the sheriff's department's just out there and they're just putting people in jail because they want to support whatever figures they can to get into jail here. And that's a common dialogue that I've had with people, and I've responded, and I want the sheriff to be able to respond. in this format and in this setting, that people who, I mean,
As I told you, sorry to interrupt, Wade, but like I told you a couple of weeks ago, I asked you for another deputy. I need another deputy, and you told me that that wasn't an issue. And I told you that probably in January, I'd want another. There is no doubt, believe me, there is no doubt whatsoever, COVID is over with. People are out working again. And I mean, when I'm working, I'm talking about the criminal element of society, is out working again. The people that we're having in our jail here are not somebody that's got a driving while suspended. We have some violent criminals in this county that we have arrested. They are here. If you don't think that Coffee County has violent criminals, you're sadly mistaken. So, we've had people, again, we're full. We've been a little less last week, got rid of some females. We are still putting anywhere from 4 to 6 inmates a week, farming them out someplace because we don't have room. We are full. I mean, it's running rampant. And these aren't people that we're just trying to arrest for driving while suspended to put in jail so we keep our numbers up. It is wild. As I told you 2 weeks ago, I need investigators working criminal cases, not working shift work, because that's what's had to happen. And again, that's not being anybody's fault. That's just COVID. That's just, people being sick, needing to be home, and the number of cases that we're working, as Wade can tell you, is not going down. The number of criminal cases we're working are skyrocketing. So, again, I thank you for your support that you've always given me. Like I said, I got a guy back from the academy. Hopefully I can get another one hired here pretty quick. We're looking at somebody that's a seasoned officer that's got the academy. We're going through the background investigations, and if you don't know how we do background investigations, please talk to me. It is a daunting process to go through. In today's world and society, we do backgrounds on everybody, and it is a very thorough background investigation. So, that being said, we're working day by day, making things work, and putting bad guys in jail that need to be in jail. And hopefully we have, as you've always did, you've given me your support. And I want to thank Wade for the things that he does, and Angie working on this salary study commission. And again, we work as a team, and that's why we've been so successful this past year. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you for your update.
Yeah,
I think those are very important.
Thank you.
Watching the news, I want to thank you guys for doing your job.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Sometimes it's thankless, but we got to do what we got to do. That's what we're here for.
I'm truly thanking you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Did you have something else? Did you have anything else?
I just want to mention, so tomorrow, something that I think myself and maybe the sheriff and maybe each of you are watching is what happens in Osage County, because Coffee County is not the only one looking at a new jail. In fact, Osage County has the new jail on the ballot, at least the language that's going to be dealt with, I think, is a half-cent sales tax.
They got a half-cent sales tax.
And that goes to the ballot at the special election tomorrow, and it's 135 bed?
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. So, interesting enough, they started the process, I believe, after we did, and now they're moving full steam ahead. And I think
and just so people in YouTube land, we're not proposing any tax increase. So that's not what Wade's trying to say. This is of no tax increase. But
I'm just bringing it up so people can watch, and then if the citizens of Osage County say yes, then the question will be, well, why can't we just take our people up to Osage County because they have beds available?
And
it's not going to work.
And that was the thing, because Osage County gets it. I think Shawnee County will keep them full.
It's not only that. They've already been contacted by the U.S. Marshal Service, and Marshal Service said the day you turn the key, I'll fill every one of your beds if you want it that way. So, not that that's what Sheriff Wells is going to do. I mean, but he can do whatever he wants to do. But for me, if somebody asks me, so you're going to have 78 beds here, how many are you going to fill? Well, that all depends on how many people I have here. I mean, we'll set a number of beds, whatever it may be. Let's say we set 45 beds. Then whatever is extra, and we can farm in and make some money to help pay off our debt. But Again, I'm not farming out 78 beds, so I don't have any beds here. The whole reason that I'm trying to do that is to keep from farming out what I have now and paying somebody else money. So these other agencies are help paying for their jail based on my money that we're paying them, you know, to house our inmates. I know the other sheriffs down south that have been farming our people say, keep sending it, I'll take your money. They're more than happy to see us bring inmates to them. So that's what we want to do, is take care of our own. Whatever else is just gravy, but we need to be able to take care of our own. And right now we can't, because they're being housed someplace else.
I remember last month's vouchers, we are farming out, and our salary for a deputy to go somewhere close to $10,000 for the month, which doesn't count vehicles and all that, plus it doesn't count security and all those kind of things either. So.
Exactly. Yeah, if you get to the point to where you're farming all your people out, then you're going to have to hire, I would have to hire more people to transport and other vehicles, because there's only so many vehicles we have. You can't send, you know, 3 sets of jailers or deputies to transport when you only got 2 cars, for example. So, I mean, there's just, you make a trip here and you come back and get people, and you make another trip, and then you bring that back, and that's what we've done. You've had to come back and make trips because we have to get rid of people. When you're full, we have to have space here for the people that we have, and so you get rid of people.
So, one thing to keep in mind, and Goldberg will probably talk about it when he's here, is how incrementally different the cost will be the longer you wait to get something moving. And if you start building tomorrow versus 6 months versus a year or 2 years down the road, that 12 million, maybe 15, it may be 17, but I think historically what you'll find is it's not going to go down. So
I think in the past year, just since I've been in office when this started, I think that they were saying that the cost had increased above 9% from when January, when I took office, until now. So a year is 9%. You know, again, I'm not great with numbers when that comes to that, but that's what the national average is, I think, is 9%. So it's not getting cheaper at all. We know that. So anyway, Larry can talk to you about all that, and hopefully he can answer your questions that I don't have answers to. But other than that, thank you for letting me be here today.
Okay,
I do know on a small scale, rebar has taken a 30% price increase.
Yeah.
Your 9% is probably low.
That may be. So for us, I hope it's not, but.
I was buying it last year for $5 a stick, it's now $8.
Yeah.
But we want to move along as quick as we can.
Yep.
And make sure we're doing it right.
Yep, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Round table. Wade?
Only thing I had to talk about was sort of the dialogue with Christina, and that got brought up earlier. And then I was gonna update on the Osage County, just for optics, so people can watch what happens up there. Because I think what happens up there is sort of something to watch here, because both counties are trying to do the same thing.
Angie?
Yeah, one thing, on that, advertisement for the health department administrator, I checked with Lindsay to find out the qualifications, and she said the current job description says master's degree. I asked her if it could be a bachelor's degree, and I haven't gotten a response yet, so I didn't know if you want to call her up and ask her how, I mean, we need to know what.
I'll talk to her and see, but I don't think they should require a master's degree. This was the job description that Lisa put out, right?
I think so, but, we need to get it clarified if you want this to be coming in the 25th of February, to get it advertised today.
Do you guys think we need a master's degree?
She said that, I know Lindsay had made a comment one time that her job was, 20% nursing and the rest was
administrative,
so
it basically.
Don't sound like it.
Yeah. And the job description, the way I understand it now, does not say that the administrator even has to be a nurse.
Right.
And from some of the discussion I've had, I'm not sure that might not be a route to go.
So, do you want just minimum qualifications like high school diploma and then decide from there, or do you want bachelor's, or?
I'm not sure we're qualified to answer that question.
That's what I wondered if you wanted.
Well, we're talking administrator, we're not talking nurse.
I understand that, Bob, but we also need, should it be a bachelor's degree? I don't know. And
Well,
what should it be in, or
thing
what-
about it is, if
or
you
maybe
get-
5 years' experience would offset a bachelor's degree.
If you get people come in, it's our job to take the best. If this person has a high school degree and this one has a college degree and they're equal, I would think we'd take the one that did. But if you only get two and this person has a college degree and it's not what you want, but this person has a high school degree and we think we're fair, we want to be able to take that person also. So
But you do want to have some minimum requirements for that. You don't want to make it so low that you get applications from so many different people, although we have the right to narrow it down to 3 or 5, whatever we get. But to me, there needs to be some minimum specifications. There's minimum specifications on every job application we put in the paper. This needs to have the same respect.
Right now, I have minimum qualification requirements or high school diploma or GED with so many years' experience, or other education.
But you'd want some other education or other experience, or they wouldn't be qualified for
Right.
administrative with a high school degree.
Right.
and experience could they could overrule degrees too.
Of course, most people's got the experience, has got some type of degree too. I don't know, Angie.
And why would you not have it preferred that somebody has a degree, a bachelor's degree of some sort?
To me, it ought to be
We could prefer it, yeah.
And,
We could prefer a bachelor's.
That kind of gives it a little bit of classification.
and then, for experience, maybe consider experience in a similar or related field, because you may get somebody who doesn't have a bachelor's degree in nursing, but may have one in business administration, and they've worked in a hospital setting, and they may be qualified, but they're not. They're not necessarily a nurse, but they know what they're doing. Or you may find somebody who's been in the nursing field and have,
Right, because we're not requiring a nurse, we're not advertising for a nurse.
Sure.
Yep, preferred bachelor's.
Okay, minimum qualification requirements are high school diploma or GED and combined experience with a preferred bachelor's degree. Or a preferred bachelor's degree.
or,
Or,
good.
or. I'm okay with it, what do you guys?
Yeah.
That should, people's gonna apply for that, they're gonna know the importance of this job. They're gonna know if they're qualified for it or not. In my opinion, they sure know if they qualify.
Okay. You got that?
Do you want me to print this off so you guys can take a quick look before I publish it? It'll just take a second.
That's fine.
Just read it. Just read it. Just read it.
You're gonna add a lot more to that anyway, as far as the pay and the benefits and the.
Well, no, we're not putting pay or anything.
Well, I
like
know
that
you
in.
wouldn't technically put pay, but, pay, whatever, most of the columns that's in there when we're seeking employment, and the column's 3 or 4 inches long.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put more to it than just what you're reading,
Yeah.
correct?
No, well, this is it, done. I have it done. I want you
Okay.
to, do you want me to read it then?
Yeah, I'll read it. Read it.
Okay, wait, hang on just a minute.
And we're gonna try to, next week, figure out the rest of this stuff that would go with this, so when people, because this is not gonna go out, when's your paper, Mark? Thursday?
I can get it out this week.
It'll be on Wednesday
Goes
night.
out this week,
By the end of
and people start applying, they can wait a couple of days till we get that stuff figured out. We just need to get it out that we're going to be doing it.
for Thursday paper, we need by the end of the day Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. The Board of Coffee County Commissioners, Coffee County, Kansas, is seeking to fill a full-time position for a health department administrator. Minimum qualification requirements are high school diploma or GED and combined experience, or a preferred bachelor's degree. The candidate needs to have administrative knowledge as well as the ability to work well with others and with the public in a professional manner. must have a willingness and ability to learn and grow with the position. Applications and job descriptions may be picked up from and returned to the county clerk's office, 110 South 6th Street, room 202. Applications will be received until 5 p.m. Friday, February 25th, 2022. Selected applicants will have the opportunity to proceed to a structural interview, and if an applicant is made a conditional offer of employment, he or she will be asked to submit to a drug screening. Coffee County is an equal opportunity employer. Coffee County considers applicants for all positions without regard to race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, the presence of a non-job-related medical condition or disability, or any other legally protected status. Coffee County will not refuse to hire a disabled applicant who is qualified to perform requirements of the job with reasonable accommodation. Applicants may request reasonable accommodations during the application interview process.
That's a lot more.
That's our general
Most
line
that's what I
in our
want to make
policy.
sure you put in there, which I assume you probably were, Angie, so.
Okay, so are we okay with that? The way it
I'm
went out that
okay
way?
with that.
Okay. We already made a motion to.
Right.
So.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was right before I send it.
Okay, Tim?
Already talked about mine as going to bi-weekly, or bi-monthly
Pay period.
pay period. Give it some thought.
Tom?
Yeah, sounds good. Oh, we got handed some mail. Dawn and I and Tim opened one of his, title insurance policies for the recent properties purchased. So I don't know where those need to be filed. Addressing the commission, and
Yeah, I'm gonna put those in the
one's
file.
on the church over here,
Yeah.
one's on the ag, and one's on
Mhm.
you do, so.
Okay, and we also have the, tax abatements through the state, we've got all that going, so that should be done.
Okay.
To where those properties are taken off the tax roll, since they're county owned now, so.
Anything else?
That was it for me.
Don?
No, I did not.
Andrea?
Just the old church, kind of seeing where we're at with that. I know you looked into some places that might want anything in there or to put
They
down.
want to put in, if we put it out for bid, they'd like to have a bid sent to them.
Okay, so do we, just to kind of get something going on that, or do we, as far as,
I'd be in favor of sending it out for bids, I mean, yeah, get the ball rolling, I mean, we can, it wouldn't have to be a 30-day period either, it could be a 60-day period. That way you can have plenty of time to attract as many interested.
and companies that
People.
would be willing to come salvage that, that's what we're looking for?
Salvage the interior or basically anything.
And I threw this out before, and I haven't got there yet, but I think we should give the museum the opportunity if they want a window. And I know there's only one chair left in the whole thing. If they would like that chair, I would say we give that to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
And if the something the museum really wants, because that's a part of history.
I'll
So,
get with her on that, and-
I can get a hold of them, and then I'll have Shirley get a hold of you,
Okay.
and, or whatever, if, I'll find out if she's even interested.
Okay.
If they're interested, I'll have her get a hold of you, and then you guys can go do a walkthrough, and then maybe she can list what she thinks she would like to have, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And then we get a company to salvage everything that's savable, and then we're gonna do what with it in the meantime? If they save these windows, save some wood, we're gonna keep all that stuff, or we want people to actually buy it, companies that wanna come buy it and take it?
They'll just come in
Okay.
and take everything out they put a bid on, or basically anything in the interior.
And then do we need to are we gonna have to demo it shortly after that, so we don't have a half, like
You're
an
gonna have
unsafe
a
building
place
over
with no
there?
windows on it, or
So how are we gonna bid that?
see,
That's gonna be the thing, we're just gonna bid the windows? Who wants the windows? You give us a bid for the windows?
Well, I was wondering if we had not bid the demolition of this.
Yeah.
As
Let
as
them-
a whole, I mean, they have to, when they get off what they want, and it's gotta be laying in a pile ready to haul off, or does it need to be gone in it? You know, Wayne's washout on that one road, Oxon Road, I mean, these are just a bunch of bricks.
Bricks, which have no wiring or anything in them.
Looks to me like you almost need just one bid. You get 3 or 4 different bids, they come in, then you gotta schedule the time for this bit, this, business to come in, schedule time for this business to come in, because you can't tear the bricks down unless the windows are out first.
Right, and some of that scroll work on that block work on the outside, I would think would be of some value to someone, so.
Watching the History Channel over the weekend, there is.
I would think.
And they was coming in just taking that out.
I think if we bid a one bid, that contractor can
Take out what he wants.
take what he wants, sell what he wants, do it. And it might come in a lot less bid, a lower
Correct.
bid also, because there's money to be made on it.
One of the things I did watch, let's make sure we get everything out of it, the museum wanted, because that was one of the biggest complaint, watching that they come in, and one of them brought it to my attention, that people come in and take what they want after the fact when they have bid it out.
I will get out there today and this afternoon and talk to them and see, so they should be getting, if they're interested at all.
Right, okay.
If they're not interested, we won't worry about it.
And
Yeah.
just the other thing, DC Solutions is the basement company though, they're still on schedule to be here the 14th to the 18th.
Awesome.
I think that's it for me.
Okay. You're looking, Wade.
Oh.
Okay, well, anybody have anything else?
Just to add, I sent an email out to, have a department head meeting tomorrow at 11. And Wade's available at that time, so that way we can kind of get some feedback from department heads if it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's still your decision on whatever you do, but.
No, and I apologize to anybody that I can't digest that we're not actually given 90 days, but it is what it is. I've been
I
wrong.
didn't see it originally myself.
Yeah, I've been wrong before, so.
It may look like
I'm
they're
whatever,
upfront, but on the
I'm for whatever's easiest for payroll of you guys, not to mention fair to the employees.
What's fair? What's fair for the employees?
For everybody.
Fair for the tax.
Reading Lisa, I keep saying Lisa, but it's Christina now. Two recommendations via email. I'm not opposed to just following those two recommendations and heading on down the road. But
It was just important she get something to the board because of sort of what happened after last Monday and sort of the unknowns that surfaced, so that you knew her position before she was just completely silent. Then I didn't think that's something that could occur. So she put something together.
She had three things, we took care of one, so that, we got that narrowed down, so
Yep.
that was an accomplishment. Okay, if not, we will, anybody anything else, we'll adjourn at 11:17.